Good evening. How are you?
It's been a while.
It's been far too long, is what it's been. It's my
Yes,
fault. I
yeah.
apologize.
No, it's okay. I'm glad that you seem to be doing better.
Ugh, yeah, I'm sorry, guys, for the impromptu break, but my missus abandoned me to go over and visit family in Germany. I mean, she hasn't been there since before the pandemic, but really, is that any excuse to to leave me alone for 2 weeks? And I was doing really, really well until my elderly dog, started to do less well, and he weighs 23 kilos, and I weigh less than 50 kilos, and have nerve damage and a dodgy shoulder. So trying to deal with him on top of dealing with all the
Yeah.
stuff that Julia usually does around the house means that my body broke.
It broke.
Basically, I was a broken mess of a woman. So I was so pathetic. I had to use the dictation function on my phone to dictate a message to Tiffany, going, I'm so sorry, but I can't even do podcast notes because I'm such a mess.
You poor thing.
I know. But I'm back
She's back. Do, do, do,
from
do.
outer space. I just walked in to find you here with that sad look upon your face.
Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
yeah. I like your shirt.
Oh, you do?
Mel Dandridge has been blowing
This
me a kiss for
this whole
about
this whole
15
thing?
minutes.
Yeah. How does it make you feel? Does it make you feel loved?
It does make me feel loved. Yeah,
Good.
yeah.
There you go.
That was uh, because this is a sound only medium. People were lucky
Yeah.
to have missed out on that, which was
The-
me puckering up
bl-
in the same manner that Merle is
Giving
to
her a kiss back.
to
That's
give her a
okay.
kiss back.
She
Yeah.
received it.
Good.
On the back of the shirt, it says, I love squirrel.
It's very cute. It's very cute.
Yeah. Yeah. Dory made it for me for Christmas.
Oh, that's nice. Bless
Hmm.
her.
Yeah.
What's new with you, Scooby Doo?
I got a job
Whoop whoop.
that I'm really excited about. It's an answered prayer for sure. And it all worked out perfectly with timing, and it's just I can't wait to go in and drop the mic on Monday and quit my job. Like drop the mic. Like I quit. Boom.
Bye.
Yeah, have a good day. Um Hopefully my I don't think anybody from my work listens to this podcast. But you know what? By the time it comes out I'll have quit already, so it
You've
doesn't
quit
matter.
already, so it's absolutely fine.
But yeah, I don't know. Have you ever had a job that you worked that you just like when you quit, you felt like like relief and like almost like happy that you knew
Oh,
you were about to
yes.
quit?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. My last job that I had before this one,
Uh
when I handed in my notice, I got like a standing ovation from my team, and everyone had like a countdown. Like I'd go in and they'd be like, "You've only got 28 days left," and I'm like, "I know." So, and I had a 2 hour exit interview with HR.
Wow. How
Yeah.
many day notice did you have to give?
Oh well, in law jobs, because you've got like quite a hefty caseload, and you need to run your cases down, and then the cases that you can't run down, you have to kind of get in a position so that when you hand them over, there's not really much for the handler to do.
Okay.
You're supposed to have a 3 month period of notice.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, but because they were such a bad company, and because I am quite good at causing trouble, but in but in a very loyally following the word of the law, following procedure, and being like very polite about but in very pointed emails. I negotiated my notice period down to 6 weeks.
Okay. See, we're
Yeah,
required to give nurses are required to give a 2 week notice. If you're in a leadership position, it's 4 weeks. But
yeah,
I'm still in the probationary period, so I'm not technically required to give any notice.
yeah.
So that's why I'm just gonna drop the mic on Monday. I'm just gonna be like, "Boop,
Can
I'm
you do
done."
it live on Instagram?
Right, like do my story.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, here I go. Let's go watch me quit.
Yeah. I'd love that.
That's so funny. I don't think my bosses would be too. They have too much. I don't think they find that humorous at all.
Yeah, but they
But
won't be your bosses at that point. You'll have already
that's
done it.
true. Be like, well, I quit. So what are you gonna do about it?
Yep. Yep.
Can't fire
Exactly.
me.
You can't fire me. I quit.
um, I also there's like I think I don't know how many 40 something days until the fire nerds get away.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I know we have some listeners that are coming to that, and
Yep.
I finally get to meet you, which is weird saying that
I know. It's going to
because I
be
think you know
absolutely
everything
mad.
about me. You know, like
Yeah,
my whole
it's
life.
yes, we know everything like about each other. Like we know each other so ridiculously well, and it's
Yeah,
crazy that we've never even shared a time zone, much less a room.
yeah, right.
So
Yeah,
it's going to be really surreal kind of
yeah, it
meeting
is.
you.
You've only seen me like,
I've only seen you from like the rib cage up.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have legs.
Yeah, and they're probably as long as I am tall.
Probably. How tall are
Yeah.
you again? What, 5'2"?
4'11".
Oh, I thought you were like 5'1" or 5'2".
No, I'm 4'11". I
Oh,
used to be
okay,
5 feet
okay.
tall, and then I got a back injury, and one of the discs in my back like withered and died, and so I lost an inch, and I was absolutely devastated. I was like, that inch meant everything to me.
So I'm like a foot taller than you.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you're gonna be like up to here.
Yeah, I'm probably the size of your 5-year-old.
Oh gosh, that's so funny. Probably close. Yeah,
Yeah.
too funny.
Well, I am going to manage to get there now. There was a hairy point whilst Julia was away where
Uh-oh.
I thought that I would not be coming to California.
Okay.
So I am an incredibly organized human. I know where everything is in my house. I know where everything, like, I know where literally everything is. Julia can be like, do you know where something is in the fridge? And I will say, it's the second shelf down on the left, it's next to X, Y, and Z. And everything in my head is catalogued where it is in my entire house.
Hmm.
So you can imagine with a document as important as my passport,
Yeah.
I knew exactly where it was,
Yep.
except I did not. So I booked my flight and I didn't need any passport details or anything for my flight. But then you get this little
Okay.
thing saying, congrats, you've booked your flight. And if you want to, you can do all this pre check in stuff and then it will just make
Yeah.
things much quicker. And because I like to
Right.
get things done and out of the way, again, organized person, I was like, let's go do that. So I went up to where my passport always is, which is in the top drawer of Julia's desk, where she keeps hers. Not there. And I was like, oh. Now, bear in mind, Julia's in Germany and she keeps hers in like this little like leather folder thing that's got her initials embossed on it that I bought her. And so I thought, oh, I bet she's accidentally taken my passport to
I was
Germany
gonna
with
ask that.
hers.
Did she accidentally take it? Yeah.
So I'd text her and I was like, have you got my passport? She was like, what a ridiculous thing to say to me. Of course, I don't have your passport. So then I'm like, oh.
You're like, man, I was hoping you did.
Yeah. So then I went and, well, her drawers aren't necessarily the tidiest things in the world sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, well, maybe it's got like shoved under something. So then I went and I ruxed up the whole drawer. No, it's not there. She has 6 drawers in this unit. So I've gone through all 6
Wow.
drawers, not in any of the drawers. So then I'm like looking around her desk, under her desk. She's got like this unit that's under her desk that has 10 like cubbies in it. I'm going through all the cubbies. So then take this scenario and then extend that to absolutely every room in my house and every drawer in my house. Neither of us have any idea where my passport is. It has not left this house.
When's the last time you used it?
It's never been used. I renewed it.
Oh,
Yeah, I renewed it during the pandemic because we realized that my passport had expired during the pandemic. And we were planning to go to Germany together because one of her grandmothers got really sick. So we got my passport renewed. And then we didn't go because sadly her grandmother passed away before we could get a chance to go out there. So my passport has literally never left this house for any reason. And it likely will never leave the house now because it's, but we don't know where it's gone. We cannot find it. So the only reasonable explanation is that it's fallen behind a piece of very large furniture or something that I can, but how it got there I don't know because it just lives in a drawer. So that was hassle. Now I remembered that when I got my passport renewed, it took like 6 weeks to come.
yep.
And when I booked my flight, Virgin, I'm flying with Virgin, gave me a little pop up and went, "It's 52 days until you fly." So I'm thinking,
You're like, oh crap.
oh crap. What am I going to do? So I was like, well, what are the chances of me finding the passport? Slim to none. I'm just going to have to bite the bullet. I'll cancel it and I'll renew my passport again.
Okay.
So cancelled my passport online, started the process, and it's got a little, one of the little FAQs is how long is it going to take for my passport to come through? And it says, once we receive your application, it usually takes about 3 weeks. And I'm thinking, 3 weeks is okay. 4 weeks, I'm going to start having a meltdown. So, what do I do? Because I know that you can use a service, it costs 142 quid, and you can have your passport expedited in a week, but you have to pay
Yeah.
this 142
Yeah.
quid. Then you have to book an appointment at your local passport office. My local passport office, bearing in mind I live on the south coast, but dead centre, is in London. That's my
Oh,
local office.
oh my gosh.
So you have to book an appointment, then you have to get to London. So the only way of me getting to London is by train and then tube to get where I need to go. And you're literally in there 2 minutes. You walk into the building at your allotted time, go to the desk, they open your passport up and check that it's you, like match you against your picture, hand it to you, and then you go back home. So I'm thinking, do I do that just to be sure? And then I remembered that the last time my mother had to use that service, they had run out of appointments in the London office. My parents had to go to Glasgow, which is legit in another country. Scotland
Yeah.
is another country. And so my
Right.
parents drove to Glasgow and back in a day. It
Jeez.
was like something ridiculous, like a 16-hour round trip for them to be in the passport office for a total of 7 minutes.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking, how do I get to Glasgow? So
Oh my gosh.
so like can you imagine all this is going around in my head? So
Yeah.
then I was like, right, just first things first, just hope that it comes in 3 weeks. Just do the 3 week one. If by the end of week 3 it's not here, phone them up and say, can I cancel this down and do the expedited service? Do I just pay like the top up fee and then you expedite it? But let's just try and like do this. So I fill out all the forms and then it says, oh, so you need your passport photo. So I was like, no bother. I've got that on file. I've got a scan of the actual photograph that's in my passport. So I went to upload that and it said, no, we don't like that file format. So I had to change the file format and then it went, no, it's too small. But I don't have the originals to scan in like at a higher
Yeah. Yeah.
pixel rate to make it bigger.
Right.
So now I'm like,
Right.
oh, fudge. Right now I need a new passport photo. So, as you know, with my dog being sick, I couldn't leave him.
Yeah.
So now I'm having to phone my mum and say, can we arrange a time that's mutually convenient for you to please come and sit my dog while I go and get my passport photograph taken? Which is harder than you think because she's got two foster kids. so
Yeah.
so anyway, we managed to like this was on a Friday. We managed to book my mother in to dog sit on the Sunday. So I legged it down to the little photo booth in the local shopping centre and did it. And when I'd done it, it came up with a prompt on the screen and said, "Would you like us to email this to you for free?" And
Mm.
it was at that point I remembered, oh, they emailed the last one to me for free as well. So I needn't have waited 2 days and gone down to here and paid 10 quid for another photograph. If I'd have just thought to look in my email inbox, I could have found the original one. So anyway, after I'd cursed myself, I did send it to myself for free and then got home and searched for the email in my inbox and then found the old one. And because I'm a little bit vain, I liked the old one better. So, and also the photo booth like scans the photograph and tells you whether it'll be accepted by the passport office or not. And I remembered that the first time round, it said, yeah, no, you're fine and dandy. But then when I'd uploaded it to the passport office website, to the HMP, whatever it is, website, it said, oh, no, we don't like that. If you want to keep that photograph, you're going to have to give us a reasonable explanation as to why you want to keep that photograph. And I just basically like wrote something really passive aggressive, like, it's my face, what's your issue? Um, and they accepted it. So A, because I preferred the photograph, and B, because it had previously been accepted, I used the old photograph. And then I got a text message from them on Monday saying, we've put your passport application on hold because you used an old photo. It's like, you absolute a-holes. Everything on they're even doing me out of 3 years on my passport because I'm replacing a lost passport.
Mhm.
It's only got 7 years on it, not the full 10 years, because I got it like 3 years ago.
Right.
So if I hadn't lost my passport, that's the photograph that would be on it.
You'd be
But they're not
using,
gonna.
yeah.
Ugh! So,
Mhm.
so I was like, ugh, ugh, ugh. So, so then luckily I had gone to the passport photo booth and I had a so I just uploaded that one straight away, and then it did the same thing. Oh, we don't really like that photo, like, why do you want to use that photo? And I was like, because it's my face. It's just my face. I can't help it that you don't find my face acceptable. That's what my face looks like. Sorry.
This is terrible.
And so then and so then I had to wait again to see if they were going to accept my photograph and accept my face. But luckily, I got a text in really short order. It might have even been like the same day, um, and it said, "Yeah, we've started the process. We'll let you know when it's being sent to your house." And that was the Monday, and it arrived on the Thursday.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that? Can you imagine if I'd panicked and paid
Yeah.
142 quid and then
I
paid
went to
like 100,
London.
100
Yeah.
odd quid for a train ticket to London and stuff? Yeah, it was. They just put it through the letterbox on the Thursday. So
Awesome.
so it was 4 days that felt like a month.
Yeah, I know. I can understand that
And
feeling.
all I wanted to do was text you and go, oh my God, my fucking passport. But I didn't want to panic you and like you think, are you joking? After all this,
Right.
and she's lost her passport and I'm still not going to meet her and she's not going to come to the getaway, and all because the idiot can't keep track of the most important document that a person can hold.
I know you made me panic, and I had to go make sure mine was where I put it.
Just FYI and also TMI, it's now in my underwear drawer, tucked in neatly next to my bras.
Mine's in my pajama drawer.
There you go, close.
Yep. Because that's just where I put it. And I need it for the job because when you get a new job, they always have to confirm that you're eligible to work in the US, so they check your
Yeah.
citizenship. And so I was like, oh my God, I need my passport for this job. Where is it? Is it where I left it? And so I started panicking because it's also like where my social security card is and all, all that stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Oh
yeah,
my God.
all that important identification stuff.
But there we go. Passport is
Man,
safe and secure. And I will
that
be
was a
coming to see
story.
you. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm glad. I'm glad it
Such
worked
a trying
out.
time. Such a trying time. And And it's
So
cost me
stressful.
£92.50 as well, because I had to pay £82.50 for the passport and a tenner for the bloody photographs. But hey, I'm coming.
It'll be worth it.
It'll
Yeah,
be
it'll be
worth
worth
it.
it.
Yeah, yeah. Um, I've just got one little shout out to do, and then we can start actually talking about this episode if you'd like.
Yeah, sure.
I want to shout out Angie. You know who Angie is. You know and love Angie.
Yep.
Angie is one of our greatest supporters. She's an she's just a lovely, just a thoroughly lovely person. She's so kind and wonderful and supportive of all of our endeavors. Bless her heart. She's just a wonderful person. She is also responsible for me going to California because I hope she doesn't mind me saying this, but she's made a donation towards my flight.
Yep.
And also, I hope Angie doesn't mind me saying, but Angie's recently had a surgery. So I just wanted to wish her the very best with her recovery, tell her that we've been thinking of her every day. And hopefully, this year will bring us and Angie together as well.
Yes, I agree.
But if you don't know Angie, get to know Angie because she's a wonderful person. And if you're the religious type, if you could spare a prayer. If you're not like me, if you're the agnostic heathen type, bit of positivity, just some positive thoughts, that would be great. But if we could all just send some positivity Angie's way and just wish her the best of luck with her recovery. Yeah, and we love you lots, Angie.
Yes, beautifully said. Thank you.
Part of problem. Any more for any more?
No, I'm glad you mentioned that because she's been in my mind too. I've been thinking a lot about her and wondering how she's doing, and um, everything you said was on point. She's been the number one supporter since the beginning, and so that's the least we can do is give her a shout out. So,
Cool. Well, there you go, Angie. Lots of love for you. Tiffany's throwing you a heart. Your computer's so clever.
well, yours won't do it.
No. You're on a fancy Mac though, aren't you?
I am on a MacBook. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Will it do the fireworks? Oh, yep.
Oh. Tiffany's throwing kind of symbols. She threw a heart for Angie and then her computer animated some hearts and put them all over the screen. And then she gave me a thumbs up. It's doing it again. And then she gave me a thumbs up and fireworks kind of appeared around her head.
I bet yours will do it too.
I will put money on it not doing. Let's try. See, I told you. No, mine won't do it. Look. Mine's just a
That's
very,
so weird.
well, it's Windows. It's still very basic, isn't it?
I thought it was like the program, not the actual
No,
computer.
I think it's your computer. I think it's your camera. It recognizes that
Oh,
you're doing
does one
something.
thumb do the bubble? One thumb does a bubble. Yep, there you go.
Oh my goodness.
It must be an Apple thing.
Yeah, it must be an Apple thing. Yeah.
Mhm. Which explains why Beth couldn't do it because she doesn't have Apple. It's all coming in
There
together
you
now.
go. Again, what learnt?
It's all coming back. It's
Back
all
to me
coming back to
now.
me now. There are moments of love.
There
Sorry.
were flashes of light. You're
There
not gonna
are,
things I'd
what
never
is
do
it? Then
again, but
never
then
again,
they
but then
all seem
always seem
right.
right. Yeah, I love Celine. Actually, it was on my bucket list this year in Vegas, and I actually bought the tickets. I bought the flight. I paid for the hotel. And 2 days before the concert, she put out a thing that she was canceling the show because she was sick.
Oh my god.
I had floor seats. It was like a bucket list
Oh
item for
my
me.
god.
Yeah, and then she canceled it, and it never got rescheduled. And they just refunded the money, and I was so bummed.
That's awful. I'm so sorry that
Yeah,
happened.
yeah. I was like 2 days before. I was like, ah. So we ended up still going to Vegas because we had the hotel and the flights and everything, but
Yeah,
it was a
wasn't the
bummer.
same.
Yeah.
We can do some Celine karaoke if you want in April.
At the getaway, I'm adding Celine. I'm adding her to the list.
Wait, have we got a karaoke machine?
We do. We're doing karaoke. You better get ready.
If there is a karaoke machine and there is tequila,
Oh, we'll have both.
then it is on, my friend. It is on.
Okay. I'm excited. Yeah, I bought one. I just bought like a little one on Amazon just, to have. We're gonna have a blast. It's gonna be fun.
This is going to be good. Um, this is what happens when I say I'm going to do karaoke. Everybody says don't.
Oh,
Oh, do you see what I did there?
I do.
Episode 606.
Yep, I see how you brought us in there.
Everybody says don't. It was the mid-season finale. It originally aired on the 10th of November 2022, and it was written by Rochelle Zimmerman. She was the story
Mm,
editor for season 4, as well as having a little role actually in 414 as the nurse for
okay.
Ben when he has his cancer operation.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, she's actually one of the most prolific writers on the show. She's penned 7 episodes over 3 seasons, and some of them were quite big, heavy episodes.
Mm-hmm.
So this isn't an exhaustive list, but she did 409, No One Is Alone, which is the one with the addicts who keep ODing over and over again. Travis and Vic keep having to
Mm-hmm.
go and resuscitate them,
Yeah.
and then Vic and Travis are arguing all day over Theo. It's that
Mm-hmm.
episode. She did
Mm-hmm.
415 Say Her Name, which is the one that's basically a meditation on the experience of being black in America. She did 511 The Little Things We Do Together, which is Vic's abortion episode. This one, obviously, and one of my favourites, which comes up later in the season, which is Could I Leave You, which is the one with the lady with the deer on her car.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah. For me, she's only written one clanger, which was 516 Death and the Maiden, which is the insemination episode.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I'm alone in thinking that one's a clanger either, am I?
Yeah. No, not really.
The director for this one was Darren O'Carter, who we know from Danielle and Stefania's Live is the guy they like to light them because he makes them look like flawless angels. He's primarily a director of photography on the show, but he has directed 6 episodes between
Okay.
seasons 2 and 6. Arguably, the biggest one of those is 5-5, The Things We Lost in the Fire, which is obviously Dean's death.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's that. Shall we start with Travis's campaign? Because there wasn't a great deal
Yeah, that's fine.
for that, was there? Um, so Vic is upset that Travis is gushing over Eli so much, even though she knows that Eli's doing a better job than she did, and she was the one that prompted Travis to go with Eli. She's not happy. And Andy says that she's been hate Googling Eli as well. And meanwhile, in the barn, Eli is trying to convince Travis to leak the story of the domestic disturbance at Casa Dixon, calling doing so self-defense, and Travis is strongly resisting. Then Vic and Andy come through carrying some boxes, and then the hate flirting starts up again in earnest between Andy and Eli. Do you need to be gagged with a spoon again over the
That was so funny.
I'd never heard
The
that
name of that
expression.
episode. Gag me with a spoon.
I'd never heard it. It was so funny. Um, but yeah, they start hate flirting again, and then Eli helps to carry the boxes, but Andy says she's pretty sure that she's stronger than him and that some of the stuff is dusty, and he looks like a guy with allergies. um, Eli then treats the cool prep as a photo op while Travis is trying to scramble to get onto the engine to actually go and rescue somebody. Eli's kind of snapping away. And then he asks Travis how long he'll be, saying that he shouldn't be late for his meeting with the union. But Andy says that she thinks the firefighters union will understand if Travis is late because he was fighting a fire. And then
Right.
sarcastically throws Eli the heart symbol that like you just did. She throws Eli a heart symbol out of the window as the truck pulls out. Um, Travis finally tips up to the union meeting, but it's very much finished by the time he gets there, with the tables and chairs being packed away. And he makes an impassioned speech about how he's late because he was on a call, and if they endorse him, they'll be endorsing one of their own. And to be told by Eli that it's the cleaning crew that he's pontificating to. Um, then he tries to appeal to the one union member who's still there with Dixon, but he's cut down. So he tells Eli to leak the Dixon story. Tiffany is shaking her head.
Cause come on, Travis.
I know. But I think it was just a fit of pique, wasn't it?
I know, but it had
It
lasting
it did have
effects.
lasting consequences. Have you got anything particularly to say about?
It wasn't really a heavy, there wasn't much to say there. You know what I mean? It was just
There's
kind
not
of
a
a
great deal to
filler
say,
of the
is there?
scene. Yeah, no,
Yeah.
there's not much not much input to give there.
Um, I'm still not seeing the chemistry between Travis and Eli. Are you seeing any chemistry there yet?
Um, no, no, they're just weird.
Yeah,
They're weird together.
they are, aren't they? Um, and
They are.
do you think it was Eli's influence that made Travis leak the story, or do you think he was just having a bit of a tantrum?
I think it was both. I think that Eli was pressured him quite a bit, so I think it was like on his mind. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh,
That he
yeah,
was
yeah,
being pressured to do it. And so it just kind of like was him giving into it, like, yeah, okay, whatever.
yeah. Agreed.
Agreed.
Anything? Oh, you're caressing Mel there.
I'm just straightening my shirt out.
Oh, that's what you do. Oh, talking of shirts, should we do a quick plug for the directed by Stefania stuff?
Do a plug because I've gotten so many compliments on them already.
Oh, really?
Yes,
Oh, that's great.
about how
Yes.
much they love the design and so many shout outs. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and Diane plucked that out of my brain. I just kind of said, "Oh, I had this idea for like this clapperboard thing," and she was just like, "Hold that thought," and then came back with it. And she'd even like done a compare and contrast. Like she'd like got a screenshot of a clapperboard and was like, "Okay, look, this is the original. This is what I've done. Are we good?" And I was like, huh, "We're more than good."
It's yeah, it's brilliant. I love it. I ordered a hoodie and a t-shirt.
Oh, awesome! And I love how she was like, "It's not finished yet. I'm going to put some Mickeys in." And then when it came back the second time, she'd got the 305 in
Yeah,
and
yeah,
2020 because of the podcast. And yeah, so
it,
I was like,
yeah. It was really
legend. She's an
cool.
absolute legend. So if you want to pick up your own directed by Stefania merchandise, I will put a link in the show notes. But also, if you can go to our Instagram or you can go to our profile on Twitter. Um, it's probably on Facebook somewhere as well. And if you just click on our like link tree thing, there's a link to the shop in the UK and the shop in the US. And yeah, go get yourself a shirt.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people buy from the other one, which is fine because it goes to Acto Sicilia, but just know that ours does too.
Yeah, I was. Oh, does
Um,
the other one goes to Acto as well?
yeah, it does,
Okay,
and
yeah,
that's why a lot of people support that one. And so I just want to let you know that ours goes to Acto as well. So
yeah. All of our
either one you buy, yeah, either way you
yeah,
buy from, it'll everything you buy from our site goes to Acto Sicilia.
yeah.
So
I don't take a
we got
cut. I don't take a cut
no,
at all. My cut, as it were, goes directly to Acto Sicilia. I don't take a penny. And obviously,
yeah.
we sell all our other stuff there as well. The 305 shirts, the High Todd By Todd, the Marina 19 varsity stuff. All of the money that I would normally get goes straight to Acto. So
You know, I was thinking if there's any ideas of shirts that you guys have in your mind, you should let us know
yeah, I
because we
can
can
mock them
maybe
up.
get some more options. Yeah.
Yeah,
Since you guys seem to like them, we can get some more options going. So let us know what your ideas and thoughts are.
good shout. Like it.
Yeah.
Um,
We
should
should do a chief shirt. Sorry,
we
keep
can do a
going.
chief shirt.
We should totally do a chief shirt. It should say, I call dibs on the chief.
Tiffany calls dibs on the chief.
I call dibs on Chief Ross.
Bless your heart. Before we lose you down Merle the Squirrel rabbit
It's
hole.
happening. You can tell.
I can tell by the look on your face that you're about to disappear into Merle land.
Okay,
Um,
we better pull it back in. Pull it back in.
so should we talk about the incident?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. So this one was a downed chopper. Beckett gives his orders in such a patronizing manner that Theo actually calls him on it. And Beckett responds by mispronouncing Theo's name, telling him that this is FD, not a self help seminar, which was a mature and appropriate response, obviously.
Sure.
Theo points out to Andy that Maya is struggling physically, but when she goes over to see Maya, she's called away by Beckett, who tells her to go where her captain is telling her without letting Andy actually explain why she was headed towards Maya. In the downed chopper is a news crew. There's a husband and wife team and their pilot. And Andy and Sullivan talk to the pilot, telling him that he's a hero as they work to extricate him, but he succumbs to his injuries. Then Isabel, who's the female reporter, is quite easily rescued, but Jonathan, her husband, has his leg impaled on a rod. And Ben says that they'll need to take the whole seat out because they could paralyze him if they try to cut through the rod. So, whilst the team works to release him, Jonathan starts telling Ben and Travis about how much he hates and resents his wife because he gave up his dream of being a war correspondent for her. And he even says that he was glad when he heard them saying that he might be paralyzed because it would mean that she would have to put up with being his carer for the rest of his life. And then he just does a 180 randomly and says that actually he's desperately in love with her and he wants to be back in his marriage. Um, Beckett, however, won't go along with Ben's plan to take the whole seat out. But when Ben, Maya, and Andy all rally against him and say, no, 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 we're going to go with Ben. He's the doctor. He knows what he's talking about. Um,
Hmm.
he basically just tells Andy that if she thinks that she can do a better job, she should take over. So she does just that, and they get Jonathan out, chair and all.
Hmm.
Um, Then back at the barn, Andy tries to talk to Beckett, who tells her that the hardest part of his job is managing their tender personalities. Then he sort of looks towards Maya and tells Andy that since she's so keen on playing captain, she'd best get to it. And then he quite sarcastically calls her boss. Um, I think I hit all the main points there. Didn't want to labour too much on it.
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty fast incident. It didn't draw out. I think the only part I kept finding myself thinking about when I was watching this scene was when you were talking about how this season they really gear up for Andy to be captain.
Yeah,
Because we saw that again in this incident, right?
yeah,
Um, I think it was a good incident. It was fast. It was it got to the points with even showing Maya and where she's at,
yeah.
and then Andy taking over as captain and kind of showing where Beckett was and just where the team was as a whole with their morale. So it showed a lot of things in the small time that it was there.
Yeah. And I think it very much focused on the team rather than, and like the team dynamics rather than the rescue itself.
Yes.
Um, and I think that that was possibly why the writing was a little bit of a letdown in terms of that guy. First of all, what a disgusting thing to like.
Yeah.
It made me
Yeah.
so uncomfortable. Like, oh, I was pleased when you said that I was paralyzed because it mean that she'd have to wipe my ass for the
Yeah.
rest of my life. Like,
Yeah.
that's real.
Seriously.
Like, that's dark, man. And then to just do that, like, very sudden 180 as well of going from like, yes, let me be paralyzed because that will punish her, to I'm so desperately in love with my wife and I just want to be back in my marriage.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
was a little bit clunky, wasn't it?
It was. Yeah.
There was
It
no
was.
processing it. There was no kind of, here's how we get from A to Z. It was just literally boom, boom. Like, I hate her. No, I don't.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
just very
Yeah. It was.
strange.
I agree.
Also, it was like a little mini mutiny, wasn't it, with the team?
Yes, it was.
If he hadn't stepped aside, if Beckett hadn't said, you know what, then, if you think you can do a better job, crack on, do you think they would have overrun him? Do you think the mutiny would have happened at that point?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah,
Just because Ben was so adamant about the rescue and what would happen if they didn't do it. And yeah, they probably would have been like, screw you, and did it anyway.
yeah, which I think would have been the right thing to do, frankly.
Right. Yeah. So it was like a mini mutiny building up to the big mutiny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was never going to be a problem for Andy, was it? I mean, she was the captain of 23. It's not like she
No.
hasn't been the
Right.
captain before. Like, what did he really
Yeah.
think he was setting her up to fail? I don't know. Like,
Right. No, he just set her up to excel, honestly.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Anything more to say about the incident?
no.
Shall we move on to prepare your t-shirt, prepare the shirt,
Prepare the shirt.
prepare the shirts, because I think we should move on to the chief and her problematic men. Caressing Merle again. Um,
Merle.
the chief and Sullivan are cozied up in a hotel room, but their little loving is cut short by the chief telling Sullivan that she's got a packed day at work, saying that she's got to get there early to get eyes on Beckett following Theo raising the alarm in the last episode. And she asks Sullivan for his opinion on Beckett. And Sullivan says that he doesn't think he's drinking, but he doesn't think he's much of a leader. And then the chief asks Sully how he's going to get to work because they drove to the hotel together. And we get another not so subtle hint from him that he wants their relationship out in the open because he says that they could carpool if they weren't on the down low, and to think of how their secrecy is contributing to climate change. And she calls him out for pushing, and then she panics when there's a knock at the door, and he sort of laughs at her and says that it's just room service. But when he goes to answer it, her face kind of drops, and we see the worry on her face that she's obviously trying to hide from Sullivan.
Mm-hmm.
Then later on in the day, she asks for Vic's take on Beckett during the fire camp, and she asks for honesty over diplomacy. And Vic tells her that he's a bare minimum guy in a house full of overachievers, that they're a go above and beyond kind of a house, and he's a sit and wait for the pension to kick in kind of captain, which is a bummer and starting to affect everyone. And then at the end of the day, Sullivan goes to find the chief in an upstairs office, and she tells him that although professionally she's had a great day, she can't stop thinking about their conversation in the hotel room that morning. And he makes light of the situation, saying, let's quit our jobs and then move to Spain, and then says right away that he's not making light of the situation. And she tells him that positions like hers aren't given to people like her, and even though she is where she is now, her position is precarious. And she says that the day has shown her that people who look like her look up to her as an example to know that they can get there too. And so she can't mess it up for herself or them. So she doesn't know whether or not she can make it work with Sullivan.
Okay.
Did I miss anything with Merle and her problematic men?
Merle. Um, no, I think that this hotel scene was better than the last one.
Yes, it was.
She's definitely given better material. Um,
She absolutely was, yeah.
I loved seeing her in the fire camp.
Yeah, I've got the girls' fire camp is next, so we
Oh,
can.
do you have that
Oh
written
yeah,
separate?
yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah, yeah,
okay. I have more to say about that. The her with Sullivan was kind of straightforward and to the point.
yeah,
Um, and I mean, honestly, the speech she had for him upstairs in the room was kind of, we knew it was coming
yeah,
based on if you watched her, her feelings, her emotions. We knew it was coming, especially the little hints in the fire camp with her facial expressions and stuff. You could just
yeah.
tell.
I thought she was absolute gold in all the
Yes,
stuff with Sullivan.
she
So
was.
so good. She's just so good. But he just really annoyed me. He
Yeah,
properly annoyed me. It annoys me that he's making such light of things, bearing in mind that it's her career on the line if they're caught, and he just doesn't seem to, he is sort of laughing and joking, and it's like it's really not funny. It's really not funny.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
and I think when you're close to someone and when you have so much history with them as well, like you do just see the person that you know maybe and kind of take them at face value.
Hmm.
But especially now with her pointing it out to him that she's not just like Tash that he was in the army with, he
Right.
should see that she's this strong powerhouse of a woman who's made
Hmm.
it to the top of her profession, of their
Hmm.
profession, his profession too. So he knows how
Right.
hard it is, despite the odds. And so he should be looking at her kind of like with reverence, like as far as I'm concerned.
Hmm. Hmm.
And rather than making life harder for her by like sulking and demanding more of her, he should just be absolutely bursting with pride that a woman of that caliber wants to be with him.
Right.
And he should be doing absolutely everything in his power to hold her up and support her and make her life easier. Like, not
No, he's
just
so selfish.
cracking
He's
jokes
just,
about moving to
yeah.
Spain.
Yeah, he's so selfish. It's ridiculous.
So I'd stand on a chair and slap him. I might actually have to stand on a table because he's quite tall.
Yeah, she needs to put him in check, but
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Um, any more to say about her there, or shall we move on to the girls' fire camp where you have more to say about the chief?
No, yeah, let's move on to that for sure.
Cool, cool, cool. Okay. Vic has the girls lining up opposite 19 in the car park, and she tells them that this is day one of their careers and they will be called by their last names, leaving all of their self doubt and their securities at the door with their first names. One girl forgets this and she's laughed at by the other girls when she introduces herself as Sophie instead of, I think Santos is her last name, isn't it?
Hmm.
Then the girl that Maya is paired with is a track and field athlete and so is starstruck being around an Olympic champion. And she tells Maya that she listens in on the dispatch radio calls and she hears Maya's name a lot, which Maya is impressed with, saying that you need that single mindedness and determination to succeed, as well as the physical and mental strength to push through the pain as she chugs down more painkillers.
Hmm.
But the girls' outdoor exploits are cut short when a huge lightning storm rages above them. And as they head inside, most of 19 has to head to a call that comes in to the downed chopper. So the girls move into reception just as Beckett saunters out of his office. And the chief tells him that it's a call, not a parade, and then barks at him to move, much to the surprise and the joy of the girls looking on, who are now left with just Vic and the chief until Jack turns up and then is browbeaten into volunteering by the chief. The girls make fun of Jack, who is out of practice and obviously still struggling with his bad wrist because he sucks at rolling a hose. And then little Sophie Santos has her turn and she isn't exactly a natural at it. So she gets down on herself and Vic takes her aside and gives her a pep talk, convincing her to try again with the chief
Yep.
watching on.
Yep.
Then they move on to CPR training, and Sophie, with her newfound confidence, seems to be hitting her stride a bit. But the girls are bored by it, so Jack has them do chest compressions to the rhythm of Baby Shark. But they still want to go back to all the action stuff, mocking Jack when he says that paramedics and firefighters are one and the same and equally important in the field. So then the chief steps in and relays an anecdote from her time in Iraq, when she kept her partner alive through the night thanks to the instincts, training, and purpose that came from a class just like this one. And now she's everyone's boss. And Vic says she's in love with her. And the kids then seem more enthused also. So, first of all, before I move on, Vic, Tiffany has tips on the chief, just FYI.
Yep. Back off.
Tiffany was in love with her first.
I was. Sorry, Vic. You're too late.
Get out of there.
Yep.
Um,
There's no line.
yeah, there's a queue, get to the back. Um, Vic tells the chief later on that she feels like she's just sort of drifted from one thing to another and has never felt as in the pocket as the chief had done that night in Iraq. But the chief says that she's got too much going on with Storm and Beckett and the fire camp and what have you to be getting all philosophical with Vic. Vic, however, gets philosophical with Jack in the beanery when he opens up to her about his sister dropping off the baby picture of him
Hmm.
that his parents had held on to. And Vic tells him that his parents obviously loved him but just couldn't keep him. And she asks him how he feels about his sister sniffing around. And he says he's curious and confused, which she tells him is totally normal and something she can work with. So then back with the girls in the barn, they're doing some chainsaw training when a real life emergency comes knocking at their door because a whole family has been struck by lightning, bar the dad. So he's just thrown his unconscious family in the trunk slash boot of the car and has driven them to 19. There are no aid cars available, so Vic calls her recruits in waiting into action and they come and help out. So O'Hare, who has been very confident and a little bit mouthy, I think I can say that, throughout the day, suddenly goes into panic mode in the face of a real crisis. Whereas little Sophie Santos, who's been doubting herself, steps up and smashes it. Then O'Hare breaks down and says that she can't do this, but Vic tells her that she's already done it and comforts her and tells her that breaking down like she is doing is also a good thing because it means she isn't bottling it up and letting it eat her up inside. Then later, the chief tells Vic that if she still doesn't think she was in the pocket today, there's something wrong with her.
Hmm.
And Vic agrees and says that working with the girls felt right, which just further proves to her that she's on the wrong path. And the chief
Hmm.
tells her that she's incredibly smart, but also incredibly dramatic, and asks her why the right thing can't be easy and right in front of her. And then she tells Vic that she wants her to run Crisis One. And the chief tells Vic that her purpose isn't some big thing that she's going to find out in the ether. It's everything she's done and everything that she's going to do, which connects the dots of her life, and that all of the dots in Vic's life make her ideal for Crisis One.
Well, I loved that scene. I love the fire camp scene. I loved Chief Ross and Vic together in it. I loved all the material that they had. I loved their conversation, their dialogue. Um, I loved seeing Jack back in there. It was just all around a good scene, the fire camp scene. I loved it.
Yeah, all of it was brilliant, wasn't it? And I
It
love
was.
seeing Vic in the role that she's in of like the teacher,
Yes.
carer,
Hmm.
the psychologist,
Yeah.
the sort of supportive big sister. That's with Jack and with the
Hmm.
girls.
Yep.
Because we see so much of like light-hearted, silly, sardonic Vic, but
Right.
I love
Right.
it when we see smart, capable, caring Vic. And this is when she's in
Yes.
the pocket. The chief is absolutely right.
Yeah. Of course the Chief's right.
Of course, the chief's right. The chief sees all
It's
and
she.
knows all.
She does. She's like Yoda.
I also loved how shocked Vic was when the chief says that she sees all of that in her. But
Hmm.
how for the chief it's just a no-brainer. Vic's like,
Yeah.
thank
Yeah.
you. And the chief's like,
Right.
duh.
Yeah.
It's just
I
it's
like that
just
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
But it was just great writing, great acting, great directing, just all round greatness happening in those
It
scenes.
was. I agree.
I know that you, if I let you, you would talk about Mel for another 45 minutes to an hour. But shall we move on to Maya?
Yeah. Yeah, because I can't. AB will kill me. He's going to a birthday party that he's so excited about today. It's his
Oh,
first one he's been invited to.
bless.
Yeah, he's like, I got invited to a birthday party? Really? They want me to come? And it's just the sweetest thing.
Oh,
So
bless.
we went and bought a gift last night. He picked out the gift. He picked out the bag to put it in, the bow to put on it. He picked everything out himself.
Is he
So
going to pick out his outfit?
he already did.
He's already picked
He said
perfect.
it has to be a special outfit. It's these new pants I bought him. The knees open up. They're like little monster mouths
Oh
on the
my God, that's
knees,
so cute.
and then with a Minecraft shirt. So he had to dress up. He said for the party. So
Class. All right, well, we'll rattle through this then so that he's not late to said party.
yeah, I know it's a long party. We're not going to stay the whole thing. It's from 1 to 7.
Oh, Jesus. I'd need at
Yeah,
least two naps.
I know. It's like 6 hours. So we're just going to
That's
go right when
two
it starts.
meals.
And
That covers 2 meals. 1 o'clock is lunchtime.
I
6 o'clock is dinner time.
It's dinner time. I know. I know. So we're just gonna go like right when it starts and let him stay for like 2 hours, and we're gonna leave.
until he has a meltdown, and then just
Yeah,
take him out of there.
yeah. Like, okay, we're leaving now.
Or is that,
But yeah,
am I just like channeling? Just channeling myself into Abe because I'd be having a meltdown. I just want to go home.
yeah, I
I'm, t-
know.
I'm overwhelmed and I'm overstimulated, and
Probably.
I fell off the bounce house. Just want to go home. Oh, we have a
Oh
bounce
God.
house in LA.
We have a bounce house on our, we have one on my property that you can bounce in when you come.
Oh my god, it just gets better.
I will blow it up when you come when you're at my house. You can go in the we can go in the bounce house. It has a basketball hoop in it, so you can play
Oh
basketball.
my god, I can play basketball in a bounce house and then do karaoke. What
Yes, yeah.
what even is my life right now? Oh my god, this is my year, man.
In 40 something days. Yes.
Oh, now I'm getting overstimulated and overwhelmed. I might need to go for a nap.
That's
where was
so funny.
where was I?
We're getting
Um,
ready to talk about Maya.
Maya. That's where I was. I was Maya. Yes, Maya and Karina. Yes, they are in their bed. They are awoken by a call from Vic reminding Maya about the girls' fire camp. Um,
Yep.
Maya hangs up on Vic and declares to Karina that she's going for a run on her ankle, which is now swollen to the size of her thigh. Um, Karina confesses to Maya that she took a pregnancy test and that it was negative, and Maya is
Yeah.
more upset that Karina took the test without her than about the result, which Karina calls
Yes.
her out on, and then says that she's going to go
Yes.
to work because at least she can make a difference there.
Yep.
As we know,
Slam.
yeah, slams the signature Karina slam of
Yep.
the
Yep.
bathroom door. I hope that bathroom door's been reinforced because it sees a lot of action from Karina. As we know, Maya struggles physically on the call because of a busted ankle, and all of the ibuprofen or whatever the hell it was she was chugging at the girls' camp does not seem to have helped her out.
No.
Then, after the call, at Beckett's direction, Andy goes to find Maya in the locker room, where she is unable to finish the text that she was writing to Karina, saying that she's sorry Karina isn't pregnant, because she begins to argue with Andy and dumps her phone. So the text never gets completed or sent.
Yep.
She accuses Andy of humiliating her and using her to angle for Captain, and says that everyone is just riding her to distract from their own stuff and that she's sick of it. Andy realizes that Rogue Maya is the one steering the ship and tells her that she's fighting for Maya, not against her. And she says that Maya is spiraling and so is reverting to what her dad taught her to do, which is to go after her team, so as to go for gold alone. But that they are her team and that Maya has to let them work together as a team to help her. But Rogue Maya doesn't want to hear it, so she slams her locker door, asks Andy if they're done, and then storms to the gym. So we find her in the gym, pounding away on the treadmill in obvious physical discomfort before her legs go out from under her and she tumbles in spectacular form off the treadmill, hitting the floor unconscious. A call comes in and Andy looks for Maya, who is nowhere to be seen. But then Beckett calls for Andy, so she doesn't have time to have any more than a cursory glance for Maya before the trucks all pull out. And so we close out the first half of the season with Maya and her turnouts unceremoniously dumped on the floor.
That was very well said.
Thanks.
You should like narrate these for people.
Or do you like the audio description?
Yeah, 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 yeah. You should do that.
I'd love to do that actually. My missus does that. Does
Yeah,
audio
that's actually really
description.
cool.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it looks like
awesome.
a fun job. But yeah, did I miss anything? It was quite a short bit, and the only reason that I finished with Maya and not the girls' camp is because it literally ends on the cliffhanger of Maya laid on the floor, and so it's sort of
Yeah, no, I think it was a good way to end it. The scene was obviously hard to watch because we are seeing Rogue Maya, which is like you can't talk to Rogue Maya about anything. It was tough seeing how her and Karina were. I loved when Maya was like, "You seemed pregnant." She's like, "How do you seem pregnant?" She's like, "The snacking." She's like, "That's being human."
yeah,
Yeah,
eating food and mood swings. Hi, your wife is Italian.
Yeah, right. So, a little bit of comedic relief there,
Yeah.
but and the ending, of course, had just killed us when we had to wait for the premiere after that. But it was all around a good scene. Props to Danielle Savory, of course, and I thought Jaina Lee Ortiz did pretty good in the scenes with Danielle as well. So.
Yeah, that was a nice scene in the locker room.
Yeah, it was. So it was good to see. I always like seeing Andy and Maya interact, even if it's the way negative the way it was. I think they always do good dialogue together.
Yeah,
So.
yeah. Um, I praised Set Deck a couple of weeks ago.
Hmm.
I take it back. Um, on Maya's bedside table, there's like a really pretty little trinket plate with what looks like a couple of like delicate little gold items on it. And there's some
Uh-huh.
pink, like hand lotion or something in a pink tube. Um,
Uh-huh.
but the real killer for me, and I was just like, what the freaking frack is that doing there? There's a sage smudge on Maya's bedside table.
I didn't notice. I'll have to go back and look.
There's a freaking sage smudge there. Does Maya really seem like the kind of person to entertain some like ancient spiritual cleansing ritual to you?
Yeah, she like stages her apartment.
Yeah, Karina, I can,
Yeah.
and I think Karina says something about having saged her wedding suit or something later on in the season. So like
Yeah.
I can kind of see it for Karina, but really Maya is gonna sage the bedroom, is she? Like I
Yeah.
just take it all back. Karina's bedside table looks far more utilitarian. She's got some sort of cream in like a white tube and what looks like a bit of a lip balm, and there is like a heart shaped trinket box, but it's not a delicate floral plate. And there is no sage in sight. So, but I just don't get their bedside tables at all. And like, who the heck keeps a sage smudge by the side of their bed anyway?
Right.
So anyway, um, that was just like a WTF moment for me. Um, However, the little things that were great, I thought was the fact that they were in their like big baggy PJs.
Yes, I agree.
Because usually they're in like little tanks like with little spaghetti straps, little
Uh-huh.
camisoles. They yeah, that's what they usually wear to bed, like quite minimal and quite tight. And but they weren't. They were in these like big, frumpy, baggy PJs, and they were sleeping back to back. And so
Hmm.
it kind of demonstrated a total lack of intimacy between them, I think.
Yeah, it did. I agree.
So I thought that added something to it. And like you, I really appreciated Andy's conversation with Maya.
Hmm.
But do you think she should have followed up earlier, maybe? Like she'd already told Maya that she needed to get professional help. Then she witnessed the argument with Karina in reception where Karina asked Maya if she'd contacted a therapist, and she was like, no, I've been too busy, do one, and made Karina cry. Andy was there and even said to Karina, like, oh, I'm really sorry. um,
Yeah.
then there was that other conversation with Karina in the laundry room at Halloween where Karina expressed that Maya wasn't talking to her. And she said to Andy, is she talking to you? And Andy kind of said, it's just what she does. So should Andy maybe have like kind of added those things up and kind of spoken to Maya earlier rather than waiting for Beckett to tell her to go and have a chat?
I think she should have, but I think she also knows Maya so well and knows Rogue Maya so well that I think she was using that judgment as well. But seeing how serious it was, I think she should have checked on her a couple more times, or at least voiced to her, "Hey, we're concerned about you."
Yeah,
Even if it would have just gone over her head, at least she did her due diligence as saying, "Hey, there's something going on, and we're worried about you, and
yeah,
we're here for you as
yeah,
well,
yeah.
for sure."
I mean, better late than never, I guess. But it was a great conversation, and she couldn't have said more. What she said
Right.
was superb. But I understand that you're going into default mode, but we are a team, and you just got to let us in. But Yeah, and I suppose she calls her Rogue Maya, but Rogue Maya's actually Sick Maya, isn't like it's
Yes,
and
yes, for sure.
it's just sad. But yeah. Any more to say about Maya?
No, poor Maya, and props to Danielle Savory.
Yeah. Um. Overall, I thought this was a pretty great episode, actually.
It was really good. It had a good incident, it had good dialogue, it had good just scenes all together,
Yeah.
for sure.
It was. I mean, it was slightly bitty. It was sort of a little bit of a
Hmm.
sort of a bit of a bitty one. But the only thing that really stood out like a sore thumb for me that I didn't get
Bitty.
was a bit bitty.
It's a
Was
bit
bit
bitty.
bit bitty. Yeah, the only thing that was like slightly odd was how Jonathan went from like resenting his wife, presumably for years, to like
Yeah, it's a
suddenly being completely in love.
I love
Um,
her. Yeah.
yeah, but everything else I thought was pretty damn superb. Um,
Yes.
all the fire camp stuff, amazing. The chief, amazing.
Yep, it was amazing. It was a really good episode overall. I'd give it a 8 out of 10.
Yeah, it's a solid eight. It's a solid eight.
Yeah, solid 8 for
It would have
sure.
crept up to a nine if it had had a couple more Karina scenes. But did you see any themes in this one?
Any themes? Maybe personal growth
Yeah.
a little bit. What about you? I know you have something.
I came up with it last minute. I was really struggling to find one, and then I thought maybe deviating from your path, possibly,
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
Travis has always been on the straight and narrow, and then he in this episode he follows Dixon down the path of dirty politics, and then Jack had taken a detour off his path, but now he seems to be making a further detour to get back on it because he's
Mhm.
going back to work. I guess Jonathan's back on the path to repairing his marriage.
Yep, he's
Um,
trying.
the chief is choosing her career path over her path to personal happiness with
Mhm.
Sullivan. Vic's now had a new path laid out for her with Crisis One. Um,
Yep.
and Maya is carrying on down a path of self-destruction, the one that she chose in like the final moments of season 5 when she deviated off the path of professional and personal fulfillment. So she needs to deviate, but she's just carrying on down like this dark road. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, that was what I came up with. It was kind of deviating on and off of paths.
Yep, I can see that for sure.
Your takeaways for this one?
I don't know if I really had any takeaways. I really enjoyed the episode.
Yeah. What were you looking forward to if you cast your mind back when the credits closed? What did you kind of think? Ooh, I can't
I
wait for.
remember feeling really concerned about Maya,
Yeah,
really, because we're getting really deep into the her pain.
yeah,
And also what's going to happen with Beckett, because the team is really starting to retaliate and
yeah,
not tolerate him anymore. And also now that Jack's been kind of showing his face, what's going to happen with him,
yep,
and coming back to the station. Just a lot of things to really look forward to and wonder about. It has a lot of different moving pieces right now
yes,
that have us wondering what's going on.
yeah, yeah. I remember obviously first and foremost wondering what's happened to Maya,
Yep.
um, and what's going on there. But I also was really happy for Vic with the Crisis One thing, and I
Hmm.
was really
Hmm.
excited to see how that developed, and also whether Sullivan helps or hinders the chief,
Hmm.
and if there was any backlash for Travis waiting in the wings.
Okay.
Who did you
For
think
sure.
had the best growth in this one?
Um, Probably Vic.
I said the same. I said Vic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, absolutely. And then the best scene for you?
Um, it's either the whole dialogue between the chief and Vic, that
Yeah,
whole scene
yeah,
in the fire camp,
yeah.
and a close second would be the locker room with Andy and Maya.
I went with your option one. I said the chief and Vic when the chief tells Vic she's smart but dramatic.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
that whole
that
dialogue
was
was just
brilliant. Yeah.
amazing. Yeah, it was.
And then was that your favorite line and your favorite piece of dialogue, or was that?
Yeah, those two, the one with Andy and Maya in the locker room, and then the dialogue between the chief and Vic were both my favorite lines or dialogue.
Yeah, my favorite line from that scene. So that was my favorite scene, and my favorite
Hmm.
line was also in that scene. So I loved it
Hmm.
when the chief was talking about Vic's purpose being the joining of the dots and of
Oh yeah,
the
yeah,
joining
yeah,
of the dots of everything she's done and everything that she will do. I just thought
yeah,
that that whole paragraph was just like that was just brilliantly written.
yeah. It was.
Just thought that was superb. Who was your MVP?
I'm gonna say either the chief or Vic.
I said exactly the same. Either Barrett Doss or Mel Dandridge, and I can't put a pinhead between
Yeah,
them. They were so good.
yeah. I can't. No, they were both just brilliant. It's got to be one of them for sure.
I think special mention should go to Danielle Savory's stunt double as well, though.
Yes, definitely. I remember her talking about it that they were asked her if she wanted to do it, but she didn't want to mess it up. The stunt,
Yeah, and
in
that the
her
stunt
live.
her stunt
Yeah,
person just did it in one, just did a oneer,
yeah,
just like
yeah,
thank you,
yep,
I'm going home now.
yep, yeah. No, I mean, I think this season Daniel Savory can get honorable mention every single episode.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
for sure.
Most gifable moment?
Um, Probably the I don't remember the exact line, but you said it when Chief says you're something, but you're dramatic.
Yeah, you're smart, but you're also dramatic.
Yeah,
Incredibly smart, but very dramatic.
that could totally be a gif. You're smart but dramatic.
Mine was when Andy tells Travis that he has to ask Beckett if they can go straight to the Union rather than stopping off at 19. They're in an engine,
Yeah,
and he says, "Hey, Captain," and then he gives him a really goofy smile and a wave.
yeah, yeah.
That just struck me as funny. Jay Hayden has a
That
funny
yeah,
face on purpose.
he does. No, he's really good with the humor.
Yeah, so that's my
Yeah.
most gifable moment.
Okay.
So next week, see, we're not going to make everybody wait for 12 weeks or 14 weeks or however long
No, we're not.
we had to wait to see someone pick Maya up off the
Nope.
floor. So next
No.
week we will look at episode 607, We Build Then We Break, and it says after a terrifying lightning strike, the Station 19 crew works overtime to extinguish the fire at Meredith Gray's home. Meanwhile, Maya is rushed to Grace Lane Memorial Hospital due to a medical emergency.
Dun dun
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
Okay.
So that's that.
That's
Um,
that.
that's that. So are you going to go and pick out your party outfit now?
Oh, I'm wearing Merle.
I am so supportive of that decision.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Mel Dandridge puckering up.
Is going to the birthday party. Yep.
I'm all
She
about it.
sure is.
I'm all about it.
She
I love
sure
it.
is. With I love squirrel on the back.
I think you are just going to look like the belle of the ball.
I am. I'm gonna be the coolest mom there.
I mean, obs. That was always a given. That was always a given. Um, right. Remember your party etiquette. Don't
Okay.
don't blow the candles out. That's for the kid to do. You don't, even though it's helping, they don't like the help.
Okay.
So let them spit on the birthday cake. Um, I know it's so grim. Don't blow
It
the
is.
candles. Don't blow the candles out and then give me a slice. Keep your slobber to yourself. Thank you very
No, I
much.
know.
Yeah. Um, it's
Hopefully they have cupcakes or something, so I don't have to eat
yeah
the slobber cake.
yeah. Um, it's considered poor etiquette to shove children out of the way to get on the bounce house.
Okay. Good thing
Remember?
we have one here, so I
Yeah,
can just be like, fine, I'll go to my own bounce house.
exactly. Yeah. Um, just trying to think of more birthday party etiquette.
Oh, and they get to open their own presents. They don't like
Oh
help opening them.
yes, yeah. Oh, and if there's pass the parcel, it's also considered poor etiquette to pass the present at a remarkably slow pace to try and maximize your chances of holding on to it. You should probably
Okay.
just try and play it cool and just pass that shit along.
Okay. Thanks for the well thought out advice.
That's quite all right. And it's their party, but you can cry if you want to.
I probably will several times.
All right. Well, I'll let you go and get Abraham into his fancy outfit.
Yeah, I gotta go wrap the presents too. I haven't done that yet.
Excellent. And I shall see you anon. Have a great time quitting work on Monday. I'll be thinking of you.
I'll message you as soon as I'm done.
Oh yeah, do. Oh, does that mean you're not live streaming it? I suggested that Tiffany live stream
Oh
it on
yeah, I
Instagram,
live
but
stream it. Yeah, maybe we'll see. We'll see how I'm feeling.
all right. Well,
All right,
have a lovely rest of your weekend, and it was absolutely wonderful to see your face.
you too. Mwah.
Mwah! Bye, bye, bye.
Bye.